Mankind must put an end to war. A war will put an end to mankind.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Well, I'm not drunk. I learned everything I got.
Change will not come if we wait for some other person.
Hello, guys. It's Blind Partisan time. My name is Jacob, and I'm your only host and the only person who matters. I am the liberal voice of this show, aka the good voice of this show. And this is Elliot. That's all you need to know about him.
I don't like labels like liberal and conservative
of course not,
anymore,
but they're fun.
They don't make any sense because I don't know what they even mean anymore.
So this show, Blind Partisan, it's time for another episode. This show where we talk about current events, politics, random things that pop into our heads during episodes, and try and find a little unity between political sides. And don't silence our cell phones.
Right on cue.
That was someone trying to argue with us already, right?
Smart.
Yeah.
They should.
Yep. All right, so what are we talking about today?
Well, I think we decided that we were going to discuss Patient Zero.
Patient Zero.
What's he referred to as?
Individual number one.
Individual number one.
Yeah. Suspect one.
Suspect Zero.
The big Cheeto.
Yeah. Well, see that I don't like. I don't like making fun of people's color ever. I feel like if
you're not doing
that's ever okay.
I mean, Obama
it's always okay.
Obama got picked on for his big ears.
I don't like that either.
No.
Yeah.
Not if you're doing it, facetiously. But
and big ears just means you have short hair. So like, whatever.
Is that what it means?
Well, yeah. I mean,
what about an elephant?
Yeah. If we have an elephant as our president, I guess you can make fun of his ears. Sure.
We did. His name was Taft.
Oh boy, just an evil person.
I know.
Yeah.
Sorry. We're starting off so well.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about with?
Well, okay. So the things of interest in the last week seem to be the chief of staff issue, the possibility, however slight or remote, of impeachment. Some people think that there's a greater likelihood than others. So, I mean,
well, what do you think? Do you think
things.
There's a likeliness to impeachment, or no?
So, pretty much every president, as far back as I can remember, has had some kind of talk of impeachment.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
So
some of them have even been impeached.
Right.
Whether that's right or wrong.
Right.
It was wrong.
It was wrong. Impeaching somebody because they debated the definition of is. That's a little weird. I'm confused as to what exactly the grounds for impeachment are in this case. To my understanding, it has to do with like paying off the two women that had an issue.
Well, for my understanding is there are so many counts that could be considered impeachment against our current president. It's kind of not even funny. The problem being with Democrats in the House and Senate not being at their strongest the past few years, even if they feel something's impeachable, they have to, avoid saying the I word in order to get anything done. That's how I see it. And to be fair, you and I have discussed this before. If any previous president had done one of the thousands of things Donald Trump has done, there would have been calls for their impeachment. Can you imagine if George Bush did some of the things that our current president has done? I mean, you look back at some of the craziest scandals ever, Watergate, the Iran-Contra affair, Bill Clinton nutting on some lady in his office.
Right.
None of them come close, remotely.
No.
To one of the, you can easily count multiple fingers things he's done work.
Right. I don't know. I mean, part of me says yes. Part of me says no. I think that other previous presidents were afraid to push the line this far.
Come in.
I just feel that Trump has this. I don't know. I mean, I think he would say it's confidence, but I think he just does stuff, and he just does kind of get away with it. There's sort of a reality distortion field.
Yeah, especially I think it's the goalposts. The goalposts always are moved. Every time he does something that's worse than before, it's, well, at least he didn't do this. And then he
Right.
does that,
Right.
and it's, well, at least he didn't do this.
Yeah.
Every single time.
I mean, it is tough to try to justify as being okay any of these things, but on the same token, I mean, that's who got elected, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not really truly understanding like what illegal things he did, if any, and
Certainly obstruction of justice is illegal.
if that's what he
can't-
did,
He did.
and okay, so how so though?
When he's witness tampered, look at the stuff with threatening Michael Cohen.
Okay,
Look at the stuff with essentially using Paul Manafort to spy on the
but
Mueller
wasn't Cohen his
investigation.
attorney?
Yes.
I don't understand how that's tampering. If that's the guy who was
former
an attorney. Yeah, but I mean,
he said, you know-
so there's all these gray areas, right? I mean, and I don't really.
I don't think there are any gray areas on this. I think this
Okay.
is completely
Well-
in the
well,
black.
okay, so
Donald Trump has committed treason, perjury,
Wow.
witness tampering,
Treason.
obstruction of
treason
justice.
requires intent.
Yeah. Look at the
you have to
Trump
have-
Tower in Moscow thing.
So his intent was to become president so that he could build a Trump Tower in Moscow.
That's certainly one of his intents.
Oh, I mean, so what did he do that was treasonous, though?
Lied to the United States people, saying he had no ties to Russia, and then he had tons of ties to Russia.
That's not a
also
tie.
to Saudi Arabia, also to
Okay. So
China.
I don't know that that's a tie, though. Like, I'm not trying to defend him, but
He, after he got elected president, was still working on that deal, which is 100% against the law. Like, textbook definition against the law of the United States of America.
okay.
And he didn't disclose it, kept it secret, and then lied to the American people after the fact, saying, no, everyone knew about it.
Okay.
That's treasonous.
What? Oh, it's
Even Republican
yeah.
members of the Justice Department, of judges, of things, saying,
Okay.
yeah, that's pretty treasonous.
Okay.
The question
So
isn't...
my problem is more that. Oh, that's pretty treasonous. That either something is treason or it's not.
treason is a lot like arsenic. You only need a little tiny bit to poison everyone.
Oh, I don't agree with that. That's just not true. That's just not true. So
What?
No, that's just not true.
Come on.
and nor should it be. Like
Excuse
selling
me.
nuclear secrets to foreign powers. Yes. I mean, short of that, what the hell? What would be treasonous?
Secretly-
Having a building, meeting with some officials in Moscow to build a building.
Taking millions of dollars worth of bribes? Working
What's
with
the
them
difference
directly
between-
to
okay,
hack our own elections
so
and encouraging them to hack them?
So there's
Taking millions of dollars of bribes in Saudi Arabia in the form of them buying drastically overpriced apartments in Trump Towers for millions upon millions upon
let's take
millions
these,
of dollars.
Let's take these one at a time. Okay. So tampering with elections. How do you tamper with an election?
By directly saying, please, in a rally, please hack my opponent, you hackers from Russia and WikiLeaks, and hack them. And then they do.
Hack what?
Hack into the Democratic Party servers and post a bunch of stuff.
Okay. So
Remember how bad Watergate was? That's a million times worse.
Okay. So there's a couple things here. The DNC, they are a private organization. They need to be responsible for their own network security. If they can't keep their own stuff secure, they deserve to lose every election, period.
Can you imagine if Obama said that?
Doesn't matter. It's the same deal.
I think that's another case of the goalpost being moved. Really?
Well,
If
it
anyone-
never moved for me.
Anyone
But the
had
problem
done
is
that.
we have some of these, we have some things that are traditions and guidelines and laws, and some of them just don't make any sense. Like, I don't think it's treason. We live in a global economy now. So, like, saying, oh, I don't have any ties to anybody anywhere. Well, yeah, he shouldn't say things like that. And he's misstating things. And he's certainly underplaying. But Of course, I know people globally, and I'm nothing. I'm nobody. Trump is an international celebrity. Of course, he knows people all over the world.
So,
And of course,
knowing
he has
people,
business dealings all over the world.
yeah, and it's been tradition for every president of the United States, going back to George Washington, to put your private life aside while being president of the United States. Every president ever has done that. You can argue some of them, didn't do as much as they should have. Harding is commonly,
Okay.
stated as one who did not do as much as he should, and he was considered one of the most corrupt politicians around.
Yeah. I mean, now they're all corrupt. So.
Yeah, but I think our president's a particular shade of bad. I see. Yeah. Here's my opinion on this. Textbook definition, the president of the United States should not only be impeached, but should have been impeached years ago. But it's not politically safe.
So Trump should have been
Yes.
impeached years ago?
About a year and a half ago. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, within the first couple months of his presidency, it was fairly obvious.
So
to most.
impeachment just means they're going to have, a kind of a trial about
Yes.
it. Okay. I mean,
That is
fine.
correct. And
Fine.
obviously, trials, don't always go the way that people
Right.
want.
Right.
But the fact is, we're at the point where if he is impeached, and I shouldn't even say that, I feel that is inevitable at this point.
And I mean, whatever, that's fine.
Do you agree?
So whatever.
Do you
Clinton got
see-
impeached, it was fine.
Do you see an impeachment on the horizon?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, impeachment. So do I believe that someone will bring out, I think they just have to submit articles of impeachment
And vote on it.
and vote on it. Yeah.
And that's going to happen. I don't know what the number of votes they need to get it is. But there's no way it's not going to happen at some point. Now, the other option, and honestly, I'd say this is more likely, is we get to the 2020 election and Donald Trump does not get re-election. Do you see that happening?
That he doesn't get reelected?
Yes.
No, he'll get reelected. I mean, barring some magical Democrat that rides in on a fairy tale unicorn like Obama did, I don't see any Democrat beating him.
Really?
Well, who would beat him?
Anyone.
No, wrong.
Not to, be the guy to throw polls around, because as we know, polls are not. If there's one thing we should learn in life is don't trust polls. But, typically they do polls against generic Republican, generic Democrat, right? Generic Democrats just slaughter Trump every which way.
Yeah.
Especially right now.
Polls work really well, don't they?
And things are getting right.
According to the polls, Hillary Clinton is our president right now.
That's what I was saying. But here's my point. The midterm elections were generally not good for Republicans. And on both sides, it was agreed, Democrats and Republican, the primary thing people were voting on was Trump.
I didn't vote on Trump at all. So, I mean, it's
most
hard,
people did.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to.
And I think that's fair to say that a lot of people voted because they're either mad at the Republican Party because of Trump, or they voted because they approve of the Republican Party. And Trump himself said this election is about me.
Yeah, I don't listen to anything he has to say.
But
I didn't vote for him, ever.
consider this.
At no point did I vote for this guy, okay?
No, me neither. The one big thing that Trump was able to wave around as a positive in this election, even with him, if the election's about him, which is what he wanted, that was his strategy, was to make it about him, he lost. Okay? The one thing he had to wave around was the economy. And generally, we're already seeing the economy slow down.
People keep saying that, but then it stutters and bounces. We're kind of at a peak right now. Like things are not going to go much further.
Right.
And if they do, it's a bubble.
It's inevitable they will go down.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, but that's always the case. It's a cycle. Presidents take credit.
I'm going to call you right now.
Push off credit. He doesn't get credit for it. Neither does
We
Obama.
are going to have a recession within the next 2 years. Whether it's a small recession or a large recession, who knows?
But yeah, and that has nothing to do with the president.
Except
the
it does.
economy is so much bigger than the president.
Donald Trump made it about the
Yeah,
president.
he can say what he wants. He's wrong.
But his base listens to that. And his opponents listen to that.
Yep. And you know what? Now that there's Democrats in Congress, they can blame it on the Democrats in Congress. This is how the game is played. I mean, they don't. It's not going to matter. The partisan people, which is what our show is all about, is pointing out the flaws in this partisan thinking. They just keep pointing fingers at each other, and meanwhile, like they do all sorts of bad things to our country.
I think even if the Democrats did something despicable like running Hillary Clinton again,
That's not despicable.
it is. I'm sorry.
It's a losing move,
Yeah.
but
I think no matter who they run, I think they could put a literal trash can on their ballot.
no,
No matter who they run, I'm calling it right now, they will win.
that's fine. I mean,
Okay.
I don't think that's true.
But I do.
yeah,
Okay. I think just statistically, that's going to happen with how angry the average person is at Donald Trump.
you know, the average person really isn't angry, though, right?
I think you're wrong. I think we saw in the 2018 election, independents went crazy blue.
Okay,
Crazy blue, record numbers.
but
Do you think
it's a
in 2 years
midterm-
that's going to change?
a midterm election?
The biggest, most popular midterm election in what, at least 50 years?
I know it was popular. I don't know about the 50-year thing.
It was a very popular election, regardless of actual.
Yep. But
Okay.
but that still pales in comparison to a regular election, like a presidential election year.
I don't think that
have.
matters.
So like, it matters
I think
a lot.
You can use it as a very good litmus test for how our country is feeling. And is particularly the independent voter, who Donald Trump did very well with, let us remember, does not like him right now. And states that he had dominated in the election hate him right now.
I don't. Yeah, it's really hard for me to relate because I felt like people were counting him out before the election, and including me.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be
A
close.
lot of people were.
I thought it'd be close, right? But a close election can flip either way, just like a close football game. You have 30% luck on your side, and which can boil down to the weather in a particular district, right? So it'll be tight again. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he will win or lose. It's going to be a 50-50 toss-up again.
I don't think so. Consider this. In order for Donald Trump to win the election, he needs to essentially be at the same place he was 2 years ago.
The problem is he has followed through on most of his campaign promises.
Like what? Where's that wall?
He's working on the wall.
He's
which
working
is
on the
a
wall.
terrible idea.
That's what I say when I don't want to put a video out. Oh, I'm working on it.
But you understand, like, that's held up in Congress. So, like, that can come back to bite the Democrats, too. Like, I promised to build a wall, and they blocked me on it. So, like, that can go both ways. And he's pretty politically astute. Say what you want. Like,
Trump knows how to play the game.
He totally annihilated all the Republicans. Annihilated them.
Was it on purpose or on accident? I'm still not sure. Little of both.
Well, he didn't need to to win, to beat all the Republicans to have a mission accomplished in terms of like writing a book, right? So what he was doing was resonating, and he is a populist. So I don't know.
One thing, traditionally, populist.
I feel like our discussion is all over the place, but
Yeah.
I think that's because Trump is all over the place.
No kidding.
Like I don't even know what a Republican is anymore because of him.
No.
And honestly, like I don't care. It crystallized my own viewpoints where I see the flaws. If this is what a Republican is, I don't want any part in that.
So our discussion here is essentially become what's going to happen in 2020, right? So why don't we go down that path?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I name a Democrat who has a shot.
Elizabeth Warren.
No.
I knew you'd say that. Elliot hates Elizabeth Warren.
Zero. I mean, she's pretty much the worst possible candidate there could be.
Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi is not as bad as
Really? You think?
but she'll never run. She's too old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Elizabeth Warren, if I had to predict one person,
Yeah.
it'll be Elizabeth Warren.
She could very well win the nomination. She will not beat Trump.
She would easily beat Trump, I think.
No way. Not easily.
Yep.
It'd be 50-50.
I don't think so.
She's a very divisive candidate, even within Democrats.
Other people who theoretically could make a run. Joe Biden.
Joe Biden would have a shot.
Yeah.
Because
I'd argue he's too old. But
I think he would argue he's too old.
Yeah.
But so is Trump.
yeah.
And
I don't see Bernie Sanders running again. I still don't. As much as I'd love to see it,
well,
I think he's going to choose someone to run in his stead.
I think he thinks he's going to run.
I think he's leaving it open.
Being cagey, yeah.
Yeah. But ultimately, I don't see it happening,
Yeah.
primarily due to age.
Yeah.
I think that's the one big thing. And I think if he did run,
I mean, you need somebody who at least can pretend to be to cross the aisle, and not in the way that Trump does, where he just picks crazy issues,
other
sides.
You know, we've had plenty, especially on the Democrat side, but this applies to this past election.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of people who you'd never think of end up with the nomination. You know, before 2007, who was Barack Obama?
No doubt.
Right.
Right.
Here's an
Which I would
interesting
argue-
one I'm going to throw
Which
out.
is why I didn't vote for the guy. He
Tim
had
Kaine.
zero experience. Tim Kaine, I think he painted himself into a corner by coming across as a little too liberal, and he could have been
Here's
more
the thing.
centrist.
Tim Kaine's senator in Virginia, and he knows how to attract both sides. He's very good at
I
playing.
thought he's a governor.
No, senator. We're talking about Hillary Clinton's running mate.
Yeah. Okay.
senator.
Yeah. Okay.
He's very good at playing center and playing left at the same time. He's one of the few people who can do that balance.
Yeah.
But he's also boring. He said himself, he's boring, right?
Yeah.
I think America wants boring for the next president. They want someone safe. Much like how after, we had the scandalous Nixon, people wanted something a little safer, right?
Yep. So, all right. So this is
What about, can you throw out a prediction first for the Democratic side? Just for fun?
the problem is that they're all crazy.
That's your opinion, man.
I mean, on the list. Okay, I'm going to read the list.
There's a list.
Oh my God, there's multiple lists.
Okay.
This is odds checker, so like you can bet on this stuff, right? So Trump is at the top. Kamala Harris, which I know I recognize the name, know nothing. Beto O'Rourke.
Oh my gosh,
on
I
the
forgot
list.
about Beto.
I think.
Beto is absolutely running for president in 2020, and he totally could get the nomination.
So he's above Joe Biden.
And I'm telling you right now, if Beto O'Rourke ends up running for president, I will absolutely be donating my time to his campaign.
Then Bernie. Then Mike Pence.
That's something I was going to ask. Do you
Okay.
think anyone's going to challenge Trump?
But Mike Pence is above Elizabeth Warren and Michael Bloomberg. I think Bloomberg
Michael
runs a
Bloomberg.
Democrat.
I don't see it happening. No, actually, to be honest, I forgot about Beto for a hot moment.
Emmanuel.
But when he first announced that he was considering his 2020 run, I was like, this makes so much sense. It hurts, right?
Yeah.
And
Michelle
I don't know if
Obama.
I don't know if you caught this, but a few weeks ago he met with Barack Obama,
Right.
and the only thing we know is they talked about political strategy for 2020.
Yeah.
I think Beto O'Rourke makes a ton of sense, and his name is really hot right now, which is important, as you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think he could do it. I mean, he almost beat Ted Cruz in very conservative rural Texas.
Okay. So we also have. I just got to throw some of these out there.
Okay.
Chuck Schumer. But above Chuck Schumer is Eminem. And just slightly above Eminem is Hillary Clinton. And then followed by Chuck Schumer is Dwayne Johnson, Oprah Winfrey, and then
Why not? If Donald Trump can be president, anyone can.
Paul Ryan's on the list. I don't know, I don't know what the deal is with Paul Ryan. There must be some. I feel like he left in
I think
a strange way.
he left. I think he needs a couple years to purge himself of negative stigma and just stay away for a couple years. And then, guaranteed, though, he will be back.
I think
Right.
so. Yeah.
He will be back, and it'll. My guess, it'll be a governor run for Wisconsin. What do you think of that?
No.
He's very popular.
He was already Speaker of the House. That's like a step down.
Yes, but governor of Wisconsin is a very safe position. generally.
Apparently, that is not the case.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure? Even with the fact that Tony Evers had a lot of buzz behind him and he dominated the important areas.
We are the purplest of purple states.
Exactly.
We're as purple as your sweatshirt.
Here's my point. Tony Evers' campaign was the best that the Democrats have run that I've seen in at least the past 15 years.
Boy, I don't know. He was a terrible
against Scott Walker, who had
candidate.
a lot of baggage.
His baggage was Foxconn. He didn't have any other baggage.
Imagine
Foxconn
instead
was
Paul
enough,
Ryan.
but
My point I'm saying right here is I see if Paul Ryan ran for governor of Wisconsin literally at any time within the next 50 years, there is zero chance of him losing.
Sure, but why would he want that?
Because it's a safe job he can hold for 20 years.
Why doesn't he just get a talk show on Fox News?
Paul Ryan?
Yeah.
A talk show host?
Oh, hey, you know what? He's boring as hell, but it doesn't matter, right? Like, he could talk economics.
Here's my point.
People
I
eat
think
it up.
he wants the presidency.
Yeah.
And he's not going to get it by jumping back into the Senate, House. He's going to get it by the most common path that people take.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's still young enough that he can retrain his career.
You give this a lot of thought. I've never really even thought.
No, this is all off the top of my head.
Seriously? Like, I haven't.
No, I've literally never thought about this.
I mean, I think you might have convinced me. Like, that might be somewhat legit.
All right, so Mike Pence.
Yeah. Mike Pence. So you're impeached. Mike Pence takes over. Disaster for the country.
No, I'm talking. What if he ran against?
He's
Trump?
not going to run against Trump.
Of course not.
Okay. What if? Okay.
What if so Trump? We're having fun here.
So Trump does some kind of crazy anti-religious thing that gets his whole religious base against him, right? So this is what happens, and then Trump resigns and then runs against him.
6 months ago, I would have said that Mitt Romney would challenge him, but now that he's a senator, not happening.
No.
But you could see that, like in an alternate universe.
Oh,
right?
I don't even think it has to be that alternate. Like if Trump just does, if he like he's I don't think he's smart enough to have carefully navigated this, but I think he has done enough to keep his supporters on his side. He has this fanatical base.
He does.
And there's no Democrat that has that outside of Bernie, you know.
Outside Bernie.
Yeah.
But the difference is,
like,
I think
they're not going to
Bernie-
support Pence.
No, I think Bernie can push his base to someone else.
Yeah.
I don't think Trump could do that ever.
So I think the Republicans are smart enough to know that they can't have somebody challenge them. So anybody legit that tries to run as a Republican, they will get zero support.
I think that's probably fair, but there is still that wild card of it.
So
particularly,
Pence would have to
conservative-
run as an independent, is what I'm saying. Like if Pence were to get fed up with all this, he'd have to start the new
All right.
National Christian Party.
I'm going to open up the conversation to probably your favorite part of this topic. Do you see libertarians having a good 2020?
Maybe. And
What do you see the state of the Libertarian Party?
So,
as someone who does
Yeah.
vote Libertarian quite a bit,
Yeah.
especially in these modern days,
Well,
how do you feel for that party?
yeah. So, it depends.
Okay.
It depends, like who they pick as a candidate, and
What if it's Gary Johnson again?
It won't be.
No.
He's not going to run again. His running mate. Why can't I think of his name right now? I wish I could think of his Bill Weld. Yeah. So Bill Weld he really got like a half endorsement from Mitt Romney at the last time.
Okay.
So like if he would run and he would get a Mitt Romney endorsement, I think that he could peel votes away from the Republicans.
I think it comes down to strategy and charisma.
Yeah, and I think
And the strategy has to be, hey, conservatives who are mad at Trump
yeah,
and centrists,
yeah.
we're the party for you.
Yeah, and I think Bill Weld could do that. I don't know that he's libertarian enough for the libertarians.
But they'd vote for him over Trump, would they?
If he is the nominee for the Libertarian Party, which is where I'm saying the problem is, sometimes they go crazy, right? I think he won't beat Trump, but could he peel votes away from Trump? Yeah.
Enough
Could he-
also
enough
to
to be
make
a spoiler?
the Libertarian Party, put them on the national stage in the BS poll.
Well, so that's the hard thing, right? They can't. So in the United States, we have immense freedom of speech, almost to a fault, where anybody can make a poll, and there aren't rules on that. There are very few restrictions on who can have a poll and what the poll is, right?
Yeah.
I can ask anyone any kind of question I want and record the results. And if so, I might not ask about the Libertarian, and that's a completely legit poll, and most of the major polls don't. And then the polls are what the debates go off of. And you can't force the networks or whoever's putting on the debates. So any third party, whether it's the Green Party, the Libertarians, the Constitution Party, whatever, right? They have a huge disadvantage. And Democrats and Republicans love it that way.
I see.
So I feel like there's going to be a small increase just because there is some negative sentiment on Trump. But there's negativity towards Democrats too.
2016 was a decent year for third-party candidates. At the very least, they were talked about a lot. Vote totals were maybe a little under expected for it being a good year for them, but they weren't bad numbers.
Well, because more than ever, there was this "don't throw your vote away" nonsense.
Yeah. I see 2020 being an even more important year for them, particularly for the Libertarian Party, but I can also see it for the Green Party. The Green Party needs to pick a candidate who's competent. I know that's going to be challenging.
Right.
But it needs to be a candidate who takes the good parts that the Green Party has combined with the Democratic Socialism.
I agree with that.
Focusing on the environment.
I don't want that candidate, but I think that's should be
the
their
right
strategy. Yes.
And get rid of the nonsense.
That's a tough thing because my definition of the Green Party nonsense would probably be a little different than yours.
The Green Party's last candidate was Jill Stein, who both agreed that vaccines cause abortions and gave time to 9/11 truthers.
Right. Those are the same kind of mistakes that libertarian candidates make too.
Yeah.
And
I see if they can both of them can formulate their messages right, they could do well, especially the Libertarians. The Libertarian says we are the new Republicans.
Okay, so the problem is though with the third parties is that the only time that they get any airtime is when they make a mistake.
Yeah.
And I mean the Trump and Clinton, like they made tons of mistakes, but they also got lots of their positive messages out. And the only time you hear about Gary Johnson is when he says Aleppo. The only time you hear about Jill Stein,
out and says something
weird. right. And honestly, Trump couldn't point out Aleppo on a map. Clinton probably couldn't either. Okay.
You know what? I will say Clinton probably could. She
probably knew. She probably knew what Aleppo was.
Yeah.
But I would defy almost anyone to point it out.
I think she's probably one of the few people who could. And that's not saying.
Is this a labeled map?
That doesn't make it so she's
with an unlimited time limit.
That doesn't mean she's qualified for president, or not. I don't think it's a question that matters, for the presidency.
Well, it sort of shouldn't.
As someone who typically is very biased against Hillary Clinton, I think that's probably something she could do.
I think out of the group, she was the most likely to know that. Yeah, I mean, no question. So, yeah.
You know who I could see? You know what? I'm going to change my vote or my mind on something. I do see someone challenging for the Republican nomination.
You have a person in mind?
Yes.
Okay. Who?
John Kasich.
No way.
Yep.
No.
You know why?
No.
Have you seen anything from him in the past year or so? Mm-mm. John Kasich has been doing the rounds on literally every talk show, every, what's the word I'm looking for? Late night show.
Yeah.
Every show he can get his spot on. Literally preaching, I'm a good Republican, not those Trumpists. Why would he be doing that?
I don't know. And that's a fail. That's a fail. I mean, you go challenge your own party, your party's going to lose. So if he just wants a Democrat to get in, that's fine. He's not capable of running as a third party. I mean, he might do it, but it doesn't make any sense.
No, he won't. But I see him pushing himself to be maybe not 2020s, but 2024's nominee for the Republican Party.
Maybe.
Specifically, you see what he's trying to do. He's trying to pull the Republicans out of the Trumpists and separate them. And that's what I see a lot of people trying to do over the next couple years.
Problem is, like the older people, they're all in. They're all in. They're not gonna drop support for him. It's younger people who probably weren't gonna vote for him anyway.
But the Republican Party can change. It changed. I mean, the '80s was a huge shift for the
Well, I mean, it just changed under Trump, but now it's his party. Like, that's the deal. Like, you got to get in line or get out. And I don't
think they're getting out.
I don't see them getting out.
They're either getting out or they're going to counter revolt. Those are the only two options.
I don't think so. I mean, honestly, we need other party choices because that fixes these problems. Like, the Republicans, if we want to have a religious party, fine-ish. I don't think that's a good thing, but I mean,
think anyone should be able to have a party.
Well, I don't.
You know, for their
I
own
think actually
values.
we should actually outlaw parties. There's my one law of the year.
Well, that will never happen.
Yeah, I don't understand the point of a
But
party.
if we're going to have parties, we should have more than 2.
Yeah. We can't.
We should have 15 parties. One named
Sort of like
Elliot's party.
it's sort of like fixing healthcare. Like, you can't fix it without blowing the whole deal up. There's no fix. So you have to blow it up. You have to say no parties for 10 years. There's a moratorium on parties. None. You get to, and we might only end up with Hollywood celebrities running then for a while. But
all right,
we
so
need that.
I see us having a couple candidates on the Democratic side.
Yeah.
Certainly not going to.
I don't think it's anybody we named yet. I don't think it's anybody on this list.
There's always the chance of that, especially with the Democrats.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there won't be anybody else on the Republican side.
But, you know, I don't see it being a large field, you know, like the Republicans were in 2016.
Yeah.
You know, of like 20 people you have to keep track of, you know.
No, that was crazy. And I think that was their undoing.
I see 3 candidates
Yeah.
going into the first primaries.
Yeah. You think?
One will be Beto O'Rourke.
Yeah.
One will be a party establishment choice.
So
Either Tim Kaine or Hillary Clinton or or Elizabeth Warren. And third will be wild card person that we don't know about.
Yeah. You think that's it?
Yes, I do.
At what point? I mean, I think
Going into
there'll be others that'll announce.
In 2015/2016, there were only 3. There was Hillary Clinton,
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders, and what's his name?
Yeah, the other guy.
Starts with M. The guy who was he kept taking his shirt off, and he's like really ripped. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Whatever his name was.
Yeah. It'll come to me after we're done.
Yeah.
But
Maloney.
something like that. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like there's going to be more because on the left there's so much anti-Trump.
There is.
That they're just hyped up, and there's going to be so many of them.
Yeah, and you know who that
all
candidate
motivated.
will be? It'll be Beto.
Might be.
Yeah.
It might be.
And you know what? He can both get the.
I mean, whatever. It turns out we don't have to have any qualifications for president anymore.
Wow. Maybe it would be Oprah.
Hey, you know what? If it would be Oprah would win.
I would not vote for Oprah.
I can't see anyone else winning. Without it,
I would not vote for Oprah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Why?
First of all, I think, believe it or not, you should be qualified for the position.
Well, none of these other people are qualified either.
You don't think Beto O'Rourke's qualified?
No. What has he done to be
You
qualified?
don't think Hillary Clinton's? Ugh. That's the one thing. If there's one thing to take away from this, Democratic Party, please do not run Hillary Clinton again. Please.
I don't know. She I don't think, once you lose, people are afraid to support you.
Yeah.
That's what happened to Mitt Romney.
Yeah, definitely. I think Mitt Romney's a great, but not only has she lost, she's lost 2 really big elections between, the primary with her and Obama.
Right.
And then she lost her chance. And not only was it a chance, everyone agreed it was a fixed thing. She will be the next president of the United States. And she bombed.
See, I think that was the thing that backfired. People are like, you don't just get to walk into this.
No,
and it doesn't. And it's so few people that get to decide, right? It's like some people in Green Bay and some people in Ohio, and we get to decide.
But her charisma did not match the election. Not saying there's not a time or place for how she acted, but she came across as stuck up
Yeah.
And as
that's enough to just skew things. And that's why like we even though we think we know these people, things come out and then we don't, and then we change our opinions on them. And like you and I might be paying attention. Nobody else is paying attention to anybody on the Democratic side. Yeah, I know people. Beto O'Rourke has had some TV time. I guarantee 80% of the country can't even name the guy.
I'm going to say I disagree with that. I think it's more.
We should.
We
have no way of proving that, so it's a pretty safe.
And if
thing.
we do a poll, Elliot's just going to say the poll's biased, no matter what happens.
It is biased.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know how we could do a non-biased poll.
I think
because we all know smart people, so it's.
I'm serious. First of all, it is fair to say that predictions don't matter.
Obviously not.
But I think that if Beto O'Rourke does end up running, and he is.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, I think he
will win the nomination.
He'd be foolish to not take advantage of the momentum, I guess.
And he's on the younger side, and he
has nothing to lose by running.
No. And he gets both the establishment vote, and he can attract the Bernie people.
Probably.
I see him having a good chance of winning the nomination.
Yeah, as long as he is.
And he has, unlike literally everyone else in the field, except maybe Joe Biden.
Yeah,
he has no baggage. What can you say right now that's negative about him?
About O'Rourke?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Exactly.
I don't like his views.
That's why the Democratic Party does really well with no names.
Yeah.
Because Barack Obama, when he came onto the field, you didn't know anything good or bad about him.
Right. So you get to project your own ideas onto him. Yeah. And people did. They're like, oh, he's going to legalize marijuana.
That stings a little. All right. So do you have anything else?
No. I feel like we talked too long about it.
I'm going to love going back and watching this episode 2 years from now. Hi, future Jacob and Elliot.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure we're going to love each other. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
By then we'll be in Civil War.
I'm sure there will be a great... No, I think things have a way of working.
No, you and I.
Nah.
No, we're each going to lead half of the country against each other.
No, half the country doesn't want anything to do with me.
But the other half?
The other half doesn't either.
Oh.
No. Yeah.
So I get all of them?
Yeah,
I'm charismatic enough to be a dictator, right?
Yeah, you're super charismatic.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
All right, I think we'll end it off there. What do you think?
It sounds good.
All right. All
join the discussion. Tell us who your candidates are on the Facebooks. Go to the Blind Partisan group on Facebook, and if you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe, hit the bell. You get notified when there's a new episode. Who doesn't want more of Elliot and Jacob?
Everybody.
And you should absolutely go onto Apple Podcasts and subscribe there too. That's all I got.
And if you have an Android phone, don't do that.